What is up, YouTube? We're back with another daily thought video. We got asked the question, some of my favorite books in one of the comment videos. I think it was daily thought video 6. And I'm a book nerd, so I really enjoy talking about books. So today we're going to go over my 5 favorite books, I guess you could say. Right behind me, I have my whole bookshelf of like hundreds of books, so I did listing them as my 5 favorite was kind of tough, but these are kind of like the 5 that I have sitting on. I have a little desk spot right over here where I have just piles of books that like I continually open up to like random pages and random things if I'm looking for inspiration or just looking for a thought of the day to kind of keep me moving or just make me think about something, some sort of line in a book. I really like doing that with books, just opening them up to a random page, reading a line that was either highlighted in there or wherever my finger lies, and trying to go through the thought process of what does that line mean and what can I take from that. So these are the 5 books that I kind of have set up there. Also, if you haven't bought one of these Comfies, bro, I need to get sponsored by these guys. The Comfies, I bought one of these like a year ago. It's like the most elite thing ever. It's like wearing a blanket. It's so awesome. So we're rocking one of those. It's a playoff night right now, so we're at halftime of the football game, and we're doing this for you guys. So instead of just Jay chilling on the couch, we're going over daily thoughts. So let's start off with the most recent one, Nietzsche's Twilight of the Idols. This book was really, really awesome, just for inspiration of what kind of person you want to be, and then the thought process and philosophy of how you become that person. And I know I've been annoyingly quoting him a lot, but this book was just, there's so many pieces to it that are like, holy fuck, if we just live that way, oh, how good could our lives be? How much could we accomplish? Where could we take everything that we want to take it? And his favorite line, one of my favorite lines from the whole book, is just like, man either is or he is not. And you just make that decision. You just become who you are supposed to become. It is not this long-term process of inspiration and motivation and all the bullshit things we kind of delay and talk about. It's like, when you know what your life mission is supposed to be and who you are supposed to go do, you just make that decision and you go. And that book is #1 for simplifying a lot of my life and just going forward and doing the things I'm supposed to do and fulfilling my duty as a human being. That book has been unbelievably freeing for me, and I can't speak highly enough about it. I go back to this book so much, and I just finished it up probably 6 months ago, and I haven't stopped quoting it the whole time. One of his other quotes in the book, or lines in the book, is like, I write in one sentence what many don't write in an entire book. And the audacity, like, you are that talented at what you do that you have that audacity to just go out there and say those things. And I think becoming good enough at something like that and having that energy about you, like, the dude's talking shit back way before social media, like, that's badass. The dude has some good energy and he's earned it, and he's right. Like, the way that he writes, one sentence can change your life more than entire books of trash. And that's one of the things I really love about reading too. I'm gonna go off on a side rant. We're fucking 1 book in and it's 3 minutes deep already, but you have access to the smartest people ever in human history on your bookshelves, in these books right here. And instead of reading them before you go to bed, you were swiping on fucking TikToks about like people eating glizzies and like just the weird shit that you go through TikTok. And I fall for those traps as much as the next person, but like, you need to set up a reading schedule, especially if you are not where you want to be in life and you have answers, which I feel like all of us do. It's why you're listening to this right now. You need to be reading. It's not an option. Like, it's such a crazy thing of like, we spend so much time and energy and thoughts on just trash, and we consume trash over and over again. And just like a person that eats a bunch of trash becomes obese, our brains are obese and they're fat and they're gross and they don't think the way that we want to think. I really believe books, and I've seen it in my life, books can give you the role model that you don't have in your life. Books can give you the inspiration that you don't have in your life. If you are surrounded with a friend group that is just not the friend group that you need, but it's the only people that you live with, or it's the only people you have access to, you can be friends with Nietzsche through his book, man. And that dude can be a mentor to you thousands or hundreds of years later from when he wrote the book. And that is just such a unbelievable blessing that we have. And I feel like most people do not take advantage of it. Talking to males, like 20 to 25 year old males, because I don't have the female perspective, but 20 to 25 year old males specifically, you can pass up every single one of the people around you by just reading every single night. Like 99.99% of males that age are not doing it. And I have seen myself pass people that have no business passing strictly by just reading every single night. Like, it is such a tool that you need to be using that you are not using. We're going to get to book number 2 because we're 5 minutes deep and these are supposed to be quick. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius is number 2. Not that it's number 2 on the list. These are not like chronological or anything like that. But this book was really, again, just very freeing. The philosophy behind it of just doing what you're supposed to do. And I think that's a theme of a lot of these books, is just do what you're supposed to do, clear up your life, stop dealing with the bullshit, become who you're supposed to become. And I really like the Meditations book by Marcus Aurelius because it was not like a preaching gospel book. It was, this is his actual thoughts. Like, it was his journal. Like, these are his thoughts. There's some random shit in there too that's just all over the place, but it's like just his thoughts and just how he actually perceived the world and who or what actions was he taking to become who he wanted to become as one of the most powerful people in the world at that time. And that is, it was just such a cool read. And the whole Stoic mentality, not that I totally agree with the Stoic mentality, but that's the other thing. You have like people shitting on the Stoic mentality in our culture. It's like, bro, like, our culture does not get the shit on anything. Like, our culture is, we've killed so many things and just said it's trash, there's things wrong with it, you should do this, you should do that. And we have fucking people like, our culture is known for OnlyFans and porn. Like, man, there's so many gross things our culture does, and then we shit on other cultures for it, or other philosophies for it. It's like, our culture is not very good right now, and I think you can change that through just following some of the old principles of some of these old books that show you how to live a life worth living. And I think that's something that we as humans need. Again, especially the 20 to 25-year-old male, because I know that, like, the nihilistic view that can be popped up into your brains, especially right now in the culture that you're in. But like, carrying the cross and being all right with that and not getting lost in all the bullshit and not thinking there's so many pathways, but just carry the cross in front of you and do what you're supposed to do. Those 2 books are money makers for it. Little switch up here, Anthony DeMello, Awareness. This book is probably the number 1 most recommended book I give. The second one I'll talk about in a little bit, but Awareness, man, like, it's almost like a psychedelic read. And there's no way this dude didn't do mushroom trip. There's no way. The way that he views the world. But man, that book really just totally changed how I view the world, my perception on the world, being present and aware with people and seeing where they're coming from and understanding how I view the world and why I view it, and that I'm able to escape the stories I tell myself. Man, his view on love and how you can give and receive it, such a profound read. I don't even know how to put that one into words. I would say Nietzsche is the only one that is on his level of writing. I think the Marcus Aurelius one is a little bit of a entry-level book. I shouldn't say entry-level, you can take it as deep as you want to take it, but Marcus Aurelius is for sure the simplest one to read. This one is on Nietzsche's level of depth, and you really have to sit down and be like, holy fuck, and have your mind blown over and over again with that book. But cannot recommend that one enough. I've given that book out so many times to people, and I just feel like if you can get that book at the right time in your life where you're really looking for that change, that one can be a massive perspective to just take a step out of your own ego, take a own step out of your own world, and just view the interconnectedness of everything and being aware of that and being awake. And being awake is one of his main messages, and I feel like we are not awake in our culture, and it allows you to just pause. I wouldn't say that book made me awake in the moment, but it allowed me to pause for the first time and be like, oh shit, I'm not awake. And having that realization was beyond powerful. Number 4, we're gonna go The Almanac of Naval. The Almanac of Naval. And this is just a compilation of all of his tweets and speaking engagements and everything just in one book. And I shouldn't say this is the most profound book for myself, but it is the most practical book that I recommend to people. It's like everything in one, like how to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. That is his 3 things. Happy, healthy, wealthy. Yes, those are his 3 things. How to build a business around that, how to build a life around that, how to actively pursue the skill set of being happy, how to actively pursue the skill set of being peaceful. And he's a very profound thinker, and I think this one wasn't as game-changing for me in the moment because I had already red-pilled myself with Naval stuff through his tweets and through his interviews and throughout the years. And the first time that I read his messages, it was like, what the fuck? Like, this is a way to do things. So I had already read most of the book before I even read the book, because it's just a compilation of all of that. But if you have not got dove into Naval's stuff, that book is a massive game changer. If you're trying to start a business, if you're trying to start a family, if you're just anybody, I really think that book is a great cornerstone to how to build a successful life that does not have you trapped in any sense. You're not stuck financially, you're not stuck time-wise, you're not stuck energy-wise, emotionally, and you set yourself up to succeed in the right way. He really talks about, like, you got to win the game to leave the game, and he talks about how to win the game the quickest, and then you play the games that you want to play, and that is when you are at your best. And I truly believe that business-wise. Anybody that's taken one of our consults understands I draw a lot from that book, and trying to get people to understand that. And that's another thing that kind of bugs me. I'm gonna go off a side rant here. We got a 10-minute video, might as well keep going. When people people chirp Gary Vee, Tim Ferriss, and Naval for having like simple business philosophies, and they act like they are these like advanced business people, and like, oh, only the gym bros recommend this stuff. It's like, they are simple principles, but nobody's implementing them. It's like, you can't shit on that if you're not implementing at least those principles. You don't have a business that's automated. You don't have a business that's leveraged. You don't have a business that allows you to take a step out and not trade time for money. Like, you don't have that, and you're shitting on that message. Like, it's unbelievable. It's such a crazy thought process. Like, once you get to the point, there are deeper steps, and there's more business to be looked at, and you can get as technical as what you want, but you're not there. Like, you are not there with your business. You don't have that. You need to follow those steps first. Then you can go and say whatever you want to say. But until you get to that point, it's just crazy for people to like, it's like looking at millionaires. And you like, that millionaire is dumb. It's like, well, that millionaire is a millionaire and we aren't, so we can't say shit. Obviously, if you inherited the money, but I'm saying that for somebody that made the money, it's like such a funny thing we as humans do. It's like, like, they probably know a little bit more than us. That's why they're where they're at, and we need to catch up, and they're giving us tools to catch up. So let's go follow that. Last book that I want to recommend, I don't have because I've given it out to so many people. I was looking at my bookshelf, and I can't remember the last person that I gave it to, but I don't have it on my bookshelf. And I've given this book out to so many people because I feel like it's like awareness and a couple of these other books combined into a beautiful story, and it is Illusions by Richard Bosch, and it is such a game changer. Man, that book is just all about how everything we look at in life is just an illusion we created. And if we like our illusion, that is amazing. If we like the movie that we are at in life, that we are watching in life, that we are playing in life, that we are acting out in life, that is great, that is amazing. But if we don't, we have the ability to change that. And better yet, we have the ability to leave that movie theater and become a new person. And I talk about this a lot, but I've played 4 or 5 different characters in my life. I've had 4 or 5 different movies that just, like, it's just totally different movie, totally different character. I'm not even that same person. And obviously you take lessons from those movies, and you take bits and pieces from the movies, but it literally feels like in a movie like that you have left, that you have evolved. And that is such a freeing book for so many people, and it's told in such a beautiful way that allows people to digest that message. It's almost like the meme atmosphere of books, where it's again, it's not preaching to you, it's not super deep, but you can read that book and be like, oh, that's all this is around me. Like, we're all characters playing in our own movies, and why am I not a star of my own movie? Or why am I not in a movie that I enjoy? Or why am I not taking steps to go enjoy the movie that I'm living and playing in? And I really enjoy that movie, or I really enjoy that message in that book. And that one was suggested to me by Austin Einhorn back on the podcast. And that was one of the things with the podcast too, was he suggested that book, and I just got it. And he's just like, yeah, it's one of the good books. I liked it. And I read it, and I was like, holy fuck, dude. Like, you did not tell me how deep that book was going to be. It hit me. I was not expecting that book to hit me. So hopefully I gave you a little bit of a warning there. A couple other honorable mentions, since I didn't have that one to view. This is Rob Gray's second book, Learning to Optimize Movement. But if you're a strength coach, I wanted to focus on non-strength coach books because I don't really enjoy strength coaching books. But this one, his first and second book, Rob Gray's How We Learn to Move, such a phenomenal read for understanding skill acquisition and how we learn things, how we learn to move. Like, man, it's such a different look and lens to view movement through and skill acquisition through, whether you're a strength coach or not. If you're an athlete, I really believe that is one of the top reads that you can have to change your practice, to change your movement sessions, and just to understand it a little bit deeper. And he writes in a way he can get pretty technical in his podcast, and he's a very smart person, almost too smart for us. Like, it's like, holy shit, what are you talking about? But he did a really nice job of distilling his book down into stories, and that was a really, really good one for me to sum up all of the thoughts that I've had and just put them all in one book. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. I can hand this out to all of my interns and have them read that. So that's a great one. And then the last one I want to recommend, and this is one that's more popular, is How the Body Keeps Score. And if you haven't read this book, just forewarning, that book will fuck you up. Like, the stories in that, I have never had to set down a book more in my life than that book. And that book, man, it just makes you realize how, it doesn't matter how hard your life is, how much worse it could get, and how much worse it is for so many people around you without you realizing that. And it really hits home in so many categories. And just understanding, when you look at a human that is acting out, that is being a bad person, that is just making decisions, you're like, what are you doing, dude? That is so stupid, or that is so hurtful, or that is so mean, or that is so angry. Understanding they were born as children and babies, and like, they did not want to become the person. They do not like those actions they are taking, but they are a hurt human, they are a hurt child, they are a hurt baby, and they have trauma, and there are things that happen to them to make them the character that they are currently playing, and the psychological things that happen there. And there's the science aspect in that book, there's the story aspect in that book, there's methods on how to fix it if you are struggling with some of those things. But that, man, that was such a radical change and shift in when I look at, and again, I'm not perfect. When somebody's acting out towards me, or they're making decisions I don't agree with, my first initial reaction is like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing that? Or get aggressive. Or my own child that I'm protecting will protect himself and go out in that way. But then it allows me to take a step back and be like, oh, that's all that's happening there. That is a very hurt person. That is a person that has struggled, that has been hurt by other hurt people. And you do not have to continue that cycle. In that book, man, I'm telling you, the stories in that book will make you completely relook at your life and be like, wow, then my life is beyond blessed, no matter how hard your life is. I'm telling you, there are stories in that book that you will not believe are real. And it is over and over and over again. So those are the 7 or so books that I shared, top 5, and then 2 extras. But hopefully you guys get something out of this. Again, I love, that was in one of the comment sections. I love questions. I think I answer questions a lot better. You get 17 minutes instead of 5 to 6 minutes. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. Hopefully you guys read some of these books. If you enjoy some of the books, let me know. If you have a book suggestion, let me know. I'm a book nerd. I'm reading the Iliad right now. It's pretty good. It's a little nerdy book going through. I'm waiting for the message. Lock-in Workhorse recommended it to me, so reading it right now and enjoying that. I'm about 200 pages into that one. And we got a couple good ones coming up. The Sovereign Individual by Keir recommended it to me, so I'm reading that one next after the Iliad. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for putting up with this rant. Keep chopping wood. Boom.